You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie, and I'm proud of the life I have, surrounded by military and aware just how big the world really is. I have a unique perspective on life and the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View. All right! Yes, it's Jessie. How's everybody doing tonight? Yes, I miss you when we're not talking. All right. I've got the topic of deception on tap for tonight. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of deception where you tell a woman that no, that outfit doesn't make her 6 o'clock look fat. Or when you don't feel like celebrating another birthday, so you just kind of ignore it. I'm talking deception on a global scale. The kind where a country signs an agreement, makes a promise, and womp womp, fail. Yeah, that kind of deception. The kind that actually matters on the grand stage. Now, I do have some show prep. First of all, I'm not going to say countries don't deceive other countries. They do. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. But I'm going to say that when a country gives their word as a nation that they are going to do something and doesn't, that is the line. That is the line. Now, it is possible, and looking more likely by the day, that you and I will live to see a peace treaty. Yes, a peace treaty, not just a ceasefire on the Korean Peninsula. That is supposedly what the North-South Korean summit is about. And I've seen more overtures between Moon and Kim Jong-un in the past month, or couple of months if you combine the Olympics, than I have in decades. Is this a good thing? Yes and no. Yes and no. I want peace. Trust me, I want peace. Why do I say no? Well, real simply, North Korea is a country that deceives. And this is where I'm going to say words I never thought would come out of my mouth. You gotta give it to Iran. Yeah, that's the show prep. You gotta give it to Iran. They tell you they want to destroy Israel, that they want to destroy the West. They don't hide it. They come right out and say it, full force, in your face. Yeah. It doesn't take a genius. Now, let's back up. to North Korea for a minute, because that's the one that President Trump will be sitting down with in the next couple of months. All right, Bill Clinton. Has been blamed for giving North Korea a nuclear reactor. Well, I'm going to say it was a cross between he and Carter. Yeah. And here's why. North Korea boasts about all of their recent tests and their launches. Well, thankfully they've been quiet lately, but trust me, that could reverse itself any minute. So, Carter, ex-president, scurried off to Pyongyang and negotiated a deal that gave North Korea 2 new reactors and $5 billion in aid in 1994. Clinton embraced this appeasement, and yes, that's a word you're gonna hear. Basically, Carter rolled over and said, "Sure, we'll take your word on it." Well, North Korea did not live up to that word. But it took until 2002 for them to fess up. They began violating the agreement as soon as before the ink was even dry. 4 years later, Pyongyang detonated its first nuclear bomb. Then Obama kicked the North Korea can down the road and went, "It'll never accept a nuclear North Korea." Said the same thing about Iran. Then cut a deal that guarantees Iran will go nuclear. It'll just take longer. Womp womp. Fail. Yes, I'm discussing the Iran nuclear deal. You know the one I'm talking about. I don't have any spare paper to tear up tonight. I haven't read all my show notes yet. So, there's a lot of deception going on. And I'm not going to say it's all bad, because countries do have a right to keep some secrets. Now, let's take a look at this deal that Bill Clinton and Jimmy Carter cooked up for us. It was called the Agreed Framework. And in contrast to the multitude of pages that were cooked up by Obama in 2015, the Agreed Framework in 1994 was only a few pages long. I'm going to read just a couple parts of it. Yeah, the whole usual, we start the talks, blah, blah, blah. In accordance with the October 20th, 1994 letter of assurance from U.S. President, the U.S. will undertake to make arrangements for the provisions to the DPRK of a light water reactor with a total generating capacity of approximately 2,000 megawatts by a target date of 2003. Okay. Now, it also said that the U.S. and the DPRK will cooperate in finding a method to store safely the spent fuel rods from the experimental reactor during the construction of the light water reactor, and to dispose of the fuel in a safe manner that does not involve reprocessing in the DPRK. Now, also what was supposed to take place was a movement towards normalization. Never happened. Never happened. Each side was supposed to open a liaison office in the other's capital, following resolution of consular and other technical issues through expert-level discussions. Never happened. And it also says that both sides will work together for peace and security on a nuclear-free Korean peninsula. Now, this is pretty plain language. This is pretty plain language. And I don't know how anybody could confuse this. I read you the exact wording. It's not written completely in legalese. Well, guess what? North Korea listened to it for long enough to sign the paper, get out of the room. And then they said, "Duh, that you took us at our word," and went laughing all the way to the bank. I call that a failure. Isn't that the definition of failure? And now I'm sitting here watching. I am sitting here watching the President of the United States, the current one, look like he is about to make the same mistake. I pray he doesn't. Because I don't know what to say about this except
the diplomatic and other efforts of the past 20 years to bring North Korea to a point of denuclearization have failed. So we have 20 years of failed approach.
And we are essentially going to put two unpredictable people in a room together. Now, trust me, a lot of advanced work and talks are being hammered out. And President Trump has already said, if it sounds like they're blowing smoke, we're out of there. And I commend him for that. But the deception isn't all on North Korea. The deception isn't on North Korea. Not all of it. They're not the only ones who deceive. They definitely are one of them. And who's next on my list? Well, how about Russia, Russia, Russia? Yes, Russia is full of deception. And what do I mean by that? Well, Russia they may not be deceiving in terms of their country. But they sure do a lot of deception on the part of a whole lot of other countries. Yeah, they do it. They're over in Syria right now, keeping the OPCW, the Organization for the Prevention of Chemical Weapons, out of Duma. Why does this matter? Well, after 14 days, the tests are invalid. We're at day 12. Yeah, we are at day 12. So, and these inspectors have been on the ground for several days. Not to mention, Russia promised us Russia promised us that they were the guarantor of the removal of they promised us that they would guarantee the removal of the chemical weapons in Syria. They promised us that they would do it. And I agree that chemical weapons users need to be held responsible. Trust me, it's horrible. But launching an attack and then saying that we'll let in the inspectors, no problem, but waiting until you know the tests are invalid. Waiting until you know there's nothing they can learn. I don't see the point. And here's what Secretary of Defense Mattis said on this.
Is the U.S. capable of striking Assad's chemical weapons facilities?
Now, the first thing we have to look at is why are chemical weapons still being used at all when Russia was the framework guarantor of removing all the chemical weapons And so working with our allies and partners from NATO to Qatar and elsewhere, we are going to address this issue.
So Russia was the framework guarantor to remove all the chemical weapons. And yet they block us in the Security Council.
Conclusions of the fact-finding mission do not entail attribution of responsibility in those cases where the use of chemical weapons is determined. The OPCW, United Nations Joint Investigative Mechanism, was created for this purpose, but regrettably, its mandate has not been renewed.
And one more.
I note that a number of states have strongly alluded or expressed suspicion that the Syrian government was responsible for the alleged chemical attack. I note also that other states, as well as the government of Syria itself, have strongly questioned the credibility of these allegations, depicting the attacks as a fabrication and a provocation. My comment, one reason more than for a thorough, independent investigation.
And that's why the UN investigators are there. Now they're there with this one other fact in mind.
The OPCW Technical Secretariat continues to be unable to confirm the completeness and accuracy of Syria's declaration.
Now, as I predicted, Syria is saying the rebels used the gas, or terrorists did. Now remember, in Assad Syria, anyone who doesn't toe the party line is a rebel or a terrorist. There is no real freedom there. Now you add to that the fact that the gas was dropped by barrel bombs from Syrian helicopters. Show me a terrorist group with a helicopter, and I'll take you a bit more seriously. Right now, I don't see it. I see quite clearly a Russian regime trying to prop up its buddies. Take a listen.
The time is ripe to discuss frankly.
And yes, this is the voice of a translator.
What is occurring around this Damascus suburb. The massive psychosis in global media outlets, in coordination disseminating in recent days the same rumors does in no way do anything to help improve an understanding of this situation. The propagandistic scenarios of catastrophe was in its time crafted for East Aleppo, which, following liberation from terrorists, their warehouses were discovered with medicine and medical equipment. At that point, we called upon the Secretariat to conduct an investigation. However, the report presented to the Security Council was blatantly superficial in nature.
Translation, they didn't like what the report said, so they wanted to discredit it. Now, Russia went on to call out the White Helmets. You're wondering who the White Helmets are. They go in to the areas where the bombings and things take place, and they pull people out.
What is constantly within our view of sight is the operation of those who cloak themselves as rescuers, namely the White Helmets. As has been long established, they exist as a result of generous foreign assistance and closely are affiliated with terrorist groups. As a general rule, they are the main roots of the well-paid-for misinformation campaigns that have been rolled out.
Okay, how can you claim misinformation when thousands of people are saying the same thing? To me, that's right up there with denying that the Holocaust ever happened. All right, folks, it is time to pay those radio station bills. So, I will see you on the other side.
And now I'm calling your bluff. Black hoods and no faces. We'll take it out to the streets. That's where we can meet. You bring your sticks, I'll bring gauges.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. You can stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. No, I'll stand my ground. Won't be turned.
All right, thank y'all for hanging in there with me while we paid those radio station bills. Now, for those of you who are listening, if you are listening live, get your six over into KLRNradio.com into the chat room. Yeah. Come on, get over there. For those of you who listen via Memorex, thank you, thank you, thank you. And just as a reminder, Jesse's POV can be found on many of the main podcast locations. Yes, many of them. Now, it can be found on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, Spreaker, Stitcher. And if there's one you want it on and it's not out there, well, guess what? Let us know at the station. You can either email me at jesse@klrnradio.com or Jesse's POV at KLRNradio.com, or you can email station manager Ann at KLRNradio.com. Now, got a couple things I need to tell you. Got a couple things I want to tell you before I get back on with the show. There's some changes coming down the pike. They don't affect you yet. They will at the very end. They will in the end. All right? Now, don't be afraid. It's just, well, remember, I'm a military wife. My husband and I move at the Army's request, and we have orders to move. So sometime probably June, July, August, I will be moving halfway across the country. And I'm not going to tell you where. I never have. But, yep, we're moving. Now, I'm warning you about it in April because I don't want it to be a shock when I come on the air one day and say, you may get a new show, but it may not be live. Because I may have to pre-record shows during the move. Don't worry, I'm taking all the basics for my studio with me in my car. They are not being entrusted to the military movers. No, they're not getting their hands on them. But there may be a few days where I can't be with you. Now, what I hope to do during that time is there a topic you've always wanted me to cover? Kind of an evergreen topic that you haven't heard on this show. I mean, we've covered so much. Or one you want to hear us cover again. Me or Justin or both of us put together. Because if you get Justin, you kind of get me too. Is there a topic you want to hear record for those days where I may not be able to be with you? Do you want more history of the Middle East? Do you want the Korean War stuff? What are you looking for? Email me, Jesse at Jesse's POV at KLRNradio.com. Yes, shoot me an email. Catch me on Twitter at Radio Host Jesse. And I will see to it that I try and organize some of those topics for while I'm unable to be with you. Yes, I'm looking for your input on my show. How many hosts actually do that? That's why I'm bringing this news to you early. I want to know what topics you have in mind. And if you hang out with me in the chat room, you can always tell me there too, because I can make a note of it and we'll get to it for you. All right. Now, I'm going to do my best not to miss more than a couple of, not to be pre-recorded or on repeat for any longer than necessary. That's why I am working on already organizing this move so that it goes as smoothly as any move can. Thankfully, being a military spouse has its advantages on that. We're kind of used to it. But yes, I will be moving this summer. Yes, I'm already working on the move. You don't want to know all the headaches, and I'm not going to put you through them. But I did want to let you know so you could be coming up with topics you'd like to see me address. Either we addressed them a while back and you'd like more, or you'd like to go over it like me or Justin and I to go over it from a different angle. Or you would like a topic we haven't discussed. There are parts of the country I don't always bring up on air. And if it's one of those, that's fine too. I don't care. I want to know your thoughts and feelings. If you want me to get the scoop, give you the history of the breakup of the Soviet Union, go for it. Shoot me an email. Catch me on Twitter. And I'll see about putting that together for you. All right. Now that I've made the announcement about the move and given you guys the opportunity to weigh in on what's going to happen, I will get back to the show, because there's still a lot of show prep. that I haven't gotten to yet. All right. You've heard that Trump wants to eliminate the nuclear weapons from the Korean Peninsula. That isn't the only goal. He also wants to eliminate the chemical and biological weapons. Remember, I have played the clips for you and told you about the antibodies in the blood of the defectors from anthrax. Yeah. And I have explained to you that South Korea doesn't have anthrax antibodies. Not to mention that Kim Jong-un or Kim Jong-nam was assassinated using VX. And VX is one of the most deadly chemical weapons on the planet. So that is also something that Trump is working on. However, while you can see a nuclear reactor running, you can't necessarily see a chemical weapons factory running. So it would be harder to detect. It is easier to hide a chemical weapons factory than it is to hide a nuclear reactor and nuclear processing. Now, the nuclear stuff is on the forefront of everybody's mind, but trust me, the chem bioweapons aren't far behind. Remember, North Korea has also supplied what they call dual-use technology to Syria. What is Syria doing? Gassing its own people. Chlorine gas and in some cases sarin. And we all know Syria and North Korea, and Iran for that matter, and Russia are all buddy-buddy trading partners. So the two leaders, it looks like they are going to meet. But how productive it is, I don't know. Now, just in case you haven't heard the news, and I'm willing to bet you have, the president of Cuba's last name is not Castro. No. For the first time in decades, someone outside the Castro family has assumed the presidency of Cuba. Cuba's election commission nominated first Vice President Miguel Diaz-Canel as the only candidate to succeed 86-year-old Castro. Now, Castro did intend to step down earlier, but the National Assembly voted in December to extend the legislative term to this week because of damage from Hurricane Irma. There were 605 deputies who were allowed to cast votes. Yes, 605 people out of an entire nation. And 604 voted for him. I think one abstained or was absent. Diaz-Canel represents a new generation of Cuban leadership. And here's the thing. He said nothing's going to change. So any hope we had of when Castro's left office changing Cuba, I think just went out the window. All right? I think it really is. And people are saying that the transfer of power is an attempt to renew the Cuban Revolution from an internal perspective and allow the children of the Castro brothers and a new generation of leaders to move into positions that will allow them to one day continue the family dominance under the island's Communist Party regime. And this may be, Canel may be just a puppet. I don't know. Now, he was named first vice president in 2013, and that was following years of dedicated Communist Party service. He's made a few calls for reform, but very few, especially recently. He in no way fomented decision from his position, and he's been there for a long time. Now, transfer of power in Cuba is complicated by this shift in the United States. Because remember, Trump has looked to roll back a lot of the previous administration's policies. Well, I don't usually get political, but I would like to see wet foot, dry foot reinstated. For those of you who don't know what that is, it means if you're from Cuba and you can get 1 foot on dry soil here in the United States, you can stay. In 1980, Castro opened the Mariel Harbor in Cuba to 125,000 Cuban citizens who sought life in the United States. The Mariel boat lift, as it became known, landed a sizable Cuban population on the shores of Miami, including all kinds of people. Some of them were criminals released by Castro from Cuban prisons. Now, 1999, there was the Elian Gonzalez case. And Fidel Castro served as Cuba's president until he abdicated to Raúl in 2008. Following years of declining health. Raúl acted as president during the last 2 years of his brother's tenure and served 2 more 5-year terms. During their rule, Castro's placed tight restraints on Cuba's private sector and prohibited many citizens from owning computers, cell phones, and other technology. And if you even think about starting a private business in Cuba, you can forget it. There were limiting contracts for private businesses, and the information there is controlled heavily. And internet access is prohibitively expensive for the average citizen. It is something you and I take for granted. Now, I don't think that Cuba is being deceptive. This Cuban president is actually telling you, yeah, my last name might not be Castro, but I'm not changing a thing. I'm going to rule as if it was. Now, I've got a theory for you guys. This is theory, and I want to play it out in the last few minutes I have on tonight's show. South Korea looks to be appeasing North Korea. Now, I can guarantee you they want a peace treaty. Trust me, they want a peace treaty. Because right now that war could go hot. And one of the questions that was asked, I posed to someone, was, would a president of the United States need a declaration of war to restart a shooting war on the Korean Peninsula because it was never ended? Or could he use that 20-something-year-old declaration and just go for it? especially under the guise of either the UN or NATO or whoever it was that did it. All right, that's one thought. I think he would if he wanted to stay out of political hot water. But I'm not so sure how much certain presidents want to stay out of political hot water. But that's another topic. Now, let's look at Syria, Iran, Iraq, Turkey, and Yemen. And of course, you can't look at all those countries without looking at Russia. Russia, what are they doing? They are helping Bashar al-Assad. Yeah, that guy. They are helping him hide, obfuscate, and evade the OPCW inspections sent to detect chemical weapons use. This is, without a doubt. What else is going on? Russia is propping up Bashar al-Assad. Russia is building a land bridge to North Korea instead of just a rail bridge. Russia did not, I will say this, they did not use any of their air defense against the incoming American missiles. There's two theories on this. A, wasn't aimed at them, so they didn't care. Or there was a second one, and I got this one talking with an old warrior. Had they actually used that air defense system that we have never seen in action, it would have been like giving us a free scouting report on it. We'd know some of its limits and capabilities, and we would have been able to see how it worked. Because I can guarantee you there were satellites over Syria while those U.S. missiles were being rained down on Syria. How do you think we had images within hours? They were taken in real time. That's how. Now, I thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night for a very outstanding episode with of Jesse's Coffee Shop with none other than retired U.S. Navy SEAL Jack Carr. And he wrote a thriller. Come on, what profession better translates to writer than retired Navy SEAL? And what genre do you think he'd pick? Yes, he picked thriller. Now, we also talk a few SEAL traits, but I keep it light because of OPSEC, Operational Security. All right, friends. I will catch you guys live and in color on Monday. And on that note, folks, I'm gone.